So let's get started. It's 11:07. I think I posted my link a little late, so it's I think I should have posted a little earlier. Cool, but like, how you guys doing with the competition? Has anyone done made some progress that you want to share before we dive into coding? And I do want to kind of ask also, if anyone wants to work together in a breakout rooms, which we should be able to do. And I think there are different options to that. Basically, I think if someone wants to like basically, because I feel like when we have 8 people, like 10 people, you're not really discussing and talking about or asking questions until like the very end. And I think sometimes it might be helpful to kind of share screen with each other. I don't know if it may be allowed in the breakout rooms. And also perhaps like, sometimes people just want to collaborate with each other and to do a competition together. Some people are falling behind. They just want to catch up and, things like that. So I think it might make it more fun to code with other people together. So I want to get some opinions on that. Yeah.
How would that work? How do you imagine it? You know,
I would imagine basically whatever the coding session, like, I mean, it's usually 45 minutes and you guys just go into your own room and I'll just assign you into the room. Obviously that's a Zoom setting. And basically, you know, if you just want to code along separately, that's fine. But like you can talk to each other. Hey, what do you think of this problem? What do you think of, that problem? Maybe I have a error that I cannot debug or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe sharing screen, like, um, I think you can share multiple screens. I'm not sure. But like you can share screens to see what where each other. I can allow multiple participants to share simultaneously, and so that's that. And then you can see what each other is coding. Um, and or I think the other way is to literally work within the same notebook, and maybe one person just wants to model it, one person just wants to do EDA, and then you switch. So there are different ways to do it.
So you're talking about the Zoom breakout feature?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. Maybe, yeah, people can talk and discuss more, and yeah, they might share more and learn more. Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
can all come together and discuss after the 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I think in the end it's more about like discussion while coding and asking questions to each other, rather than just code. And because I think in the end you might learn a little more and you might engage a little more, and to get distracted less. So okay, anyone wants to try?
Yep.
Cool.
How do you do it?
I'll just assign people into the breakout rooms, and I'm all for it. So I mean, Gotham and I were already we were studying for another book, so we were already sharing screens. So Gotham, you and I can do it, you know. Anyone else?
So for me, I'm not gonna be coding for the Kaggle competition right now today. But I am interested in just paying attention to what other people are doing and listening in. So I'd like to be sure that I'm here for the debrief at the end of the call.
Yeah. Okay.
I was so you posted the interesting video from the winners, and you suggested that we might go through that.
Yeah.
I listened to the video. It's crazy what they did, and
Interesting.
I don't know. It's but interesting. Like I don't know if like in reality people would like build solutions like that other than like winning Kaggle competition.
Right. Yeah.
Was it like ensembles of many models, like Roberta and Bert and stuff?
Yeah, it was ensemble. So they each had like their own models, and then it wasn't just ensembling. It basically, I think they build model like they build basically models of models. It wasn't more than but they actively used like other models and building like other models on top of that.
Like stacking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, like I followed like some of it only. So
Yeah, they probably over-engineered a bunch of stuff to get that extra percentage of accuracy. That's typically what happens with a lot of these Kaggle competitions. People over-engineer, and in the end, they end up using, the model. The companies end up using the model that's simpler and more explainable. But they might give, the prize to whoever has the highest accuracy score.
So I've seen people like doing stacking in papers and well in Kaggle also, but I don't know. Um, so some of it may be legitimate techniques to learn to use in real life. So that's what I'm kind of interested in.
So why don't we? Has anyone else watched it? I have not finished watching it. I was literally just looking at it for the
I
first
think there are 3 videos, right, from the top 3 solutions.
time.
I watched one of them. I watched half of one of them. The second solution, I think. The
Okay,
second ranked solution.
so do you guys want to watch it together right now for the first one? The one I posted, the first prize?
How long is it?
It's 13
It's
minutes.
13 minutes.
Yeah. Do you really think it's useful? I mean, since we are just, I mean, yeah, if it's useful, I'm up for it. But I'm not sure it will be that useful since we are just starting out.
True. Okay.
It's
We can
pretty
probably.
complex.
But
That's true.
yeah, I mean, if everyone wants to watch it, I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Okay. Then let's just push it later. Because we're still at it. Most of us are still at the EDA testing phase. And okay, so anyone else wants to do breakout rooms?
Yeah, I also like won't have time today, so I just wanted to call in.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for letting me know.
I mean, I do, but it might just be a little early in the process, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Just trying to
that's
look.
fine. We can, and you it doesn't have to be one-on-one. You could be joining, me and Gotham if you want to do it. So
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll join, and if there's someone else who just wants to pair, I'll do that too. I mean, I'm up for something brand new. I've never done it, so that's
Yeah.
why I want to do it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, having a sounding board always, helps. Especially, it doesn't matter, like I think a lot of times, yeah, having a sounding board helps. Like it just activates your brain a lot more. So, uh, who else? If not, I'll start creating. Breakout room 1. Let me assign.
Don't you wanna do it?
What's that?
Parth, don't you want to, pair code?
Yeah, I just joined. I'm not sure what's happening.
Oh, Parth.
Okay.
So we're actually assigning the breakout rooms for people to work together, pair programming, or have at least have a little bit more discussion, because people, when we have 10 people, 9 people in the room, people just like, it's not very helpful for discussion purposes. And I think it's always good to kind of do it one-on-one. Then people are more willing to ask questions and talk to each other and things like that. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that works for me. Like I'm working on named entity recognition. So
Me
I
too.
can, yeah. So I think I can pair up with Darren.
So let's create. um
Wencheng, I think one of the participants is new, Isha. So you might want to talk about what we're doing here.
Yeah, and I think I'll just listen in for today, since I'm just getting started.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. So I just assigned Darren Parth.
Hi, Isha. I remember you from Thursday. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I don't know how I can join the other one. It doesn't list my name. So
This is the first time you're doing this? I mean, setting up the rooms like this?
oh, I can join this. Yes. Yeah. No, well, it's more like second time. So the rest of the people will be in the main room, and I can see Darren Parth already joined the first room, and I'm just gonna join Gotham, and we'll come back at 12:15. 12:15. So in about 55 minutes. Okay.
Thanks, Wencheng.
So, okay, so I just, okay, we're back. Close our rooms. And is everyone back? Okay, we're back. And I think Darren and hey Arshad,
Oh, hey guys. Yeah, sorry, I've been extremely busy, so I've not had a chance to really.
no worries, no worries. Yeah, we just finished our breakout sessions, you know, our pair programming sessions, back into the main room, and you know, I think Darren and Parth are still in the breakout room, and let me just
I did get a chance to view that Dark of the Moon, the guys who won that tweet sentiment.
yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting.
Awesome. Yeah, and we were just talking about it. Hey, Darren and Parth, are you guys back? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I want to first ask, how do you guys like the breakout rooms, the breakout sessions? You know, being able to kind of, hopefully you guys were able to talk to each other a little bit, discuss.
It was helpful to me. I learned some stuff from Parth.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We had some good discussion about hyperparameter tuning.
Yeah.
Still have to figure out, because it seems like the libraries we are using, they don't let us pick the metric that we want. So that's something that needs to be looked.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just literally discussing, like, you know, there's I was just profoundly interested in the kernel density estimation and how that's different from, you know, regular distribution, things like that. I don't know if you guys tried that. And I was just looking up definition and plotting that based on, you know, the top notebook, and it seems like um, I think what he or she found was there's a bunch of um, tweets are actually clustered here, and there are a bunch of tweets that are clustered here. So there are actually not many tweets that are clustered in the middle. So he I think the author of that notebook was trying to kind of find, okay, what's going on here? What are the tweets that are kind of clustered here? And I think some of them are just short text. So perhaps the shorter it goes, the more likely you're going to have a higher Chikar score. And Gotham and I were discussing, hey, you know, should we actually clean the data? And because I think Darren was saying, you know, some of the rows are, you know, have a lot of exclamation points, and you know, why don't we clean that to see what's going on? And but Gotham was saying, hey, you know, the ultimate test set could have could be very dirty as well. So you actually want to train your model based on dirty data. I was like, that makes sense, you know, but in real world, perhaps you do want to clean, you know, everything so that you can get a pretty clean Jakar score. So. And I think the top notebook uses a very I guess just a very, traditional way of tokenizing the words, literally just splitting based on space. And perhaps I want to use, different kinds of ways to tokenize words, and I'm trying spacey now, and perhaps doing the subword tokens and see how it goes. So I'm getting towards the further data processing now to be ready for the model. Okay, and anyone else wants to share anything? Anyone else has tried other kernels for KDE plots? There's a bunch of kernels like, Gaussian kernels and other kinds of kernels, linear kernels, cosine kernels.
Parth, which library were you guys trying out?
Flare.
Okay, for the NER
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
Cool.
So it doesn't. What we're talking about, the hyperparameters and stuff.
So since we want to perform the cross validation and see how during that phase how the Jacquard score is improving or performing, we wanted to put the metric of Jacquard as well during the training phase, but it seems like that Flare does not allow that.
Like a custom metric or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
The main point is to do cross-validation, because I think that's what most people do, rather than have a holdout set. In Kaggle, that's what they do, cross-validation.
Yep.
And you have to do that at training time, right? So there needs to be a callback to give your, I'm assuming, for your custom metric.
Yeah.
Unless there's another way of going about it.
I saw like a few people have raised issues on their Flare GitHub, but the manager, the maintainer replied that they are planning to edit, but it seems like they haven't yet.
So that's a feature people are interested in?
Yeah, a few have raised the same issue.
What do people recommend? Let's say you're working with Flare, right? And there's no way to submit a custom metric, so you can't do your cross-validation. How is there a way to do cross-validation outside of that, after the training?
Aren't you just printing the metric? What else do you need exactly?
Well, one thing is to print the metric, but the other thing is, the bottom line is what you want to do is, normally you'd have a holdout set, and you want to know how well your algorithm's doing, right? How well your process is doing. And so, you either need to be doing cross-validation to do that, or have a holdout set that you're testing on, right? Cross-validation allows you to train on the entire set. That's the advantage of it. So I guess I'm a little unclear on how that relates to when you actually run your training, when you actually train the model, for example, using Flare. What are they doing to get their number? Are they doing cross-validation with the non-custom metric already? Same with...
I think with their own metric, they're using something like NER F-score, and they do perform cross-validation behind the scenes. That's what I'm guessing, since they are asking 3 files for us: train, test, and dev. But I think if we want to do hyperparameter tuning, then I'm not sure how to do that with Flare.
Yeah, but the idea is good, using Jacquard as your metric, because the default metric is just accuracy, right? The idea is very good.
I'm gonna have to look at space, because I'm doing Spacey. I'll see if there's a way to submit your own custom metric there.
But I haven't seen people doing too much cross validation when you're dealing with deep learning. They just have a validation and they just do hyperparameter with just that single validation,
Yeah.
So
because deep
whatever comes
learning is
out of the
already
model,
intensive.
Hmm.
Sorry.
so whatever's built into the model training, that score, if you could, whatever that process is, just use that and put your custom metric into it. So don't do a holdout set or anything like that.
Yeah, cross validation is obviously good. I'm just saying I haven't seen too much of cross validation for deep learning.
Yeah.
It's obviously better than validation. Yes, the simple holdout set. Yeah.
Interesting. I just saw a post saying, let me share. Is cross validation heavily used in deep learning, or is it too expensive to be used? In deep learning, you would normally attempt to avoid cross validation because of the cross cost associated with training k different models.
Yeah.
Instead of doing cross validation, you use a random subset of you as a holdout for validation purposes. And we saw from Karas, right? Like in the hands-on ML session, there's a parameter which you can pass in your validation set as a tuple, and seems like there's one approach in TensorFlow as well, and it seems like yeah, it's not heavily used because of the cost. Oh, there's a high. We mostly have large data sets when it's not worth the trouble to do something like k-fold cross-validation. We just use a train valid test split. Cross-validation becomes useful when the data set is tiny, but then you can't typically learn a complex model. There you go. Okay.
I see. So I also didn't realize with cross-validation, you're
And that was
actually...
Joseph Benjo. Sorry.
So I think, Parth, we don't have to worry about cross-validation. We just really need to get the custom metric in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this guy. I mean, of course, I mean, we should trust his answer, right? That's Benjo's answer. So there you go. Yeah.
I think the cross-validation idea, I thought about it because I heard on a podcast, but I think it was probably a tabular data competition where this guy does mostly. So that's where I probably got misled. But I didn't realize with cross-validation, does it actually create a new model with each, like you do tenfold cross-validation? It's not like...
Yeah, that's 10 models actually. Yeah.
And then what does it do? How does it combine them at the end or choose which one?
Average.
No, the cross
So you end
validation
up...
is actually to choose good hyperparameters, right? So you have 10 models, and then that helps you choose the best hyperparameters. Yeah.
Well,
no, but
that's grid search CV.
Yeah.
So, but if you're just doing cross validation, let's say you have like 3-fold cross validation, right? And you're just basically you know, for the first run, you just leave the 1/3 of the data out, you know, maybe the last 1/3, and then for the second run, you leave the middle parts, you know, middle 1/3, and then for the last run, you leave the first 1/3 out as validation sets. So then in the end, you average the scores of these 3 folds together, and that's your cross validation score. It's averaged.
I see. So you don't actually end up with a model. You just it builds a model, runs the cross validation the 3 times, the 3 folds, takes the average, and then you've got for that one model you have your metrics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's 3 models.
I mean, yeah,
well,
it's a way. Go on.
Sorry, it's for one model, right?
It's for one model, and unless you want to do grid search, then you have different models because you have different hyperparameters to run your cross validation on.
Yeah, I understand that part. The cross validation. So cross validation is usually done after you've built your model.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
That's right.
And
no,
then
it is 3 different models, Darren. So you're gonna train each of those 3 folds on effectively a separate data set.
Yeah, 2/3.
2/3, yeah.
Yeah,
so
but
each one's going to
the
see
same...
different data, so each one will end up with different weights. One architecture, 3 models.
And then you end up with what, 3 models saved somewhere, or you don't? You're
No,
just getting the number.
You're
The
just getting a
purpose of
number.
this is to just get a good validation score without actually wasting validation, without actually wasting any of the training data. That
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's
no, I get that part totally.
But you just
That's,
have at the end you again train a single model on your entire data.
Yes,
You
you'd
won't
have a
have 3
fourth
separate
model
models.
that you trained on all the data,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
full set,
yeah.
and that would be your production model.
Yep.
Yeah. So it could work in combination with the grid search or hyperparameter tuning if you had not a lot of data and you wanted to get a really solid number.
Right.
We don't need that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else? Okay, if no one else has any other comments, we'll wrap up the session now. It is 12:33 p.m. EST and 9:33 PST, so we're right on time. And I'm glad that you guys like the sessions, breakout sessions or breakout rooms. And we'll try to continue this kind of format. I encourage everyone to do breakout rooms, but even though you don't want to do it, you still end up in the room with a couple other people. In this case today, it's 3 people, right? You guys can still feel free to talk to each other. But I do feel like one-on-one is probably like more effective when it comes to communication, and also not bothering the other person who's not engaged in the discussion. So yeah, so and also when you're in one-on-one, it kind of when you're talking among like 10 or 9 people, uh you might be less likely, you might not want to share your own work, but I think it's more likely you would share some of the stuff that you work on uh, while you're in one-on-one sessions. And it definitely helps when you share your own work with the other persons and get feedback on that stuff. So cool. So we'll definitely want to continue this format going forward, and perhaps the people who are in the sessions together today can continue to be together going forward, which might work out. So cool. Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys next Monday.